October 1940, a road outside Yanceyville, North Carolina. A tenant family is loading everything they own onto a truck. To understand why they are moving, and why this fall of all falls, you have to go back 1 year to a typed government report. September 27, 1939, 3 weeks into the Second World War. Flue-cured tobacco that had brought 22 cents a pound the August before was bringing 15. Then one flat sentence. Because of the withdrawal of British buyers, all flue-cured markets were closed by September 14th. Britain bought a third of the American crop, and 5 days after declaring war, London had stopped releasing dollars for it. This is the crop that report is about in the counties that grew it. Photographers on the federal payroll had been working the North Carolina Piedmont since 1936. Their negatives are black and white. So let's be straight about what you're watching. Every color in this film is a machine's guess, made this year from the gray values on those negatives. The light, the framing, the faces, those belong to the photographers, untouched. The colors are estimates, and every original is free at the Library of Congress, linked below. Oxford, North Carolina, October 1936. Arthur Rothstein photographed a farmer at a government desk repaying a rehabilitation loan. In this country, tobacco was not just a crop, it was the money. Durham. The line to repay. The government had lent these families seed, fertilizer, a mule, and the loan came due when the tobacco sold. Rothstein's caption for this one: rehabilitation client with his tobacco crop. The crop and the loan payment are the same photograph. July 1939. Dorothea Lange came through Granville and Person counties at harvest. Early morning at shoe flea, priming tobacco, pulling the ripe leaves, bottom of the stalk first. It is stooped. Sticky work. And it starts before the dew burns off. Topping. Breaking the flour out of the top of every plant so the strength goes into the leaves. A sharecropper and his children, quote, topping and worming. The quotation marks are Lange's. The worms were picked off by hand. Children helping father, her caption says. Nobody in a tobacco family was too young to work. This girl is topping her own patch. About 1,000 hills her father set aside for her, and the patch money is hers to keep. She told Lange she was in the 8th grade and said she doesn't learn as fast as she ought. The prime leaves come in from the field by sled, and whole families string them onto sticks. A sharecropper's son hangs the strung sticks inside the barn, tier above tier, up to the roof. Putting in, they called it. A barn filled in a morning's work. Then the fires are lit, and for days the barn cures the leaf from green to gold. The temperature has to be watched around the clock. The one watching this fire is 10 years old. Mr. Whitfield, tobacco sharecropper, with his baby on the front porch. A sharecropper's wife and children. The house went with the land, and the land went with the crop. A farm boy in the doorway of a tobacco barn. Lange's caption here reads, Tobacco sharecropper tells about his prospects. She didn't write down what he said. This man is 69. He farms 6 acres of tobacco and has a large family. Lange did write down one thing she heard on his porch. Land is like folks. It gets tired and needs a rest. Mrs. Taylor is 17. The baby is 5 months old. The day after this picture was made, she was in the field putting in tobacco. Sunday. Wheeley's Church, Person County. Once a year, the women of the congregation came with brooms and buckets and cleaned the church and the grounds. Saturday. The Sons of a tenant farmer ride off down the road to go visiting. Saturday in Roxborough, the county seat, men idling around the courthouse square. Lange noted the Confederate monument, characteristic, she wrote, of southern towns. A sharecropper's daughter at the country store. And Caroline Atwater of Orange County, who owned her place with her husband. Photographed mid-sentence, telling where she was born. September 1939. Marion Post Wolcott found the belt between seasons. The crop in the barns, the war 3 weeks old. Near Carr, a cane mill, skimming the boiling juice down to sorghum syrup. The mill stood on Wes Chris's farm, 165 acres of tobacco, in what Wolcott described as a prosperous black settlement near Carr. Cards in front of the courthouse. What nobody in this picture knows yet is that the tobacco markets that should have been running that month weren't. The federal record puts it plainly. All markets closed from September 13th to October 10th, after the withdrawal of British buyers. The old belt markets never opened at all. Blocked sales ran into November. During the shutdown, Washington made an offer. The Commodity Credit Corporation would buy the British share of the crop if the growers voted to accept marketing quotas on the next one. The referendum came October 5th. 250,000 growers voted, 90% in favor. North Carolina alone cast 159,954 yes votes. Alabama cast 79. So the government became the buyer of last resort. 173 million pounds held for British option. A year later, 161 million pounds of it was still sitting in American warehouses. The markets reopened October 10th, a month late, with the whole record crop stacked up behind them. This is what the backlog looked like. Durham, November 1939. Trucks ran the sold tobacco from the warehouses straight to the cigarette factories. Outside the Liberty Warehouse on sale day, inside, the leaf comes off the sticks and into flat baskets. Hands of tobacco, leaves tied into bundles, arranged by grade, waiting for the sale. Sold baskets stacked in the Liberty Warehouse for the factory trucks. The buyers walk the rows, feeling the leaf. The auctioneer works down the line. The buyers a step behind. The farmers a step behind them. In Mabane, the auctioneer worked in white gloves. Wolcott's caption: farmers must often wait overnight before their tobacco is sold. They sleep most anywhere. This is the warehouse office at 4 o'clock in the morning. Warehouse camp rooms, like everything else in this economy, were segregated. In the black farmer's room, several men are sleeping with an old tobacco basket for a pillow. The crop slept under blankets, same as the men. Old quilts, keeping the leaf moist and in order for the morning. Buyers at the pinball machine on their lunch hour. Farmers eating in the cafe under the warehouse floor. And then the point of the entire year. The sign says, "Get checks here." Around 15 cents a pound instead of last year's 22. But it was cash, in hand in November. Reading the checks on the way out. Elvin Wilkins went straight to the bank in Durham to cash his. Wolcott followed him the whole way. November 22nd, Oxford. Court week fell during the auctions, and Wolcott walked over to the Granville County Courthouse. Second day of Superior Court, an automobile accident case. The courtroom mid-trial. Spectators and witnesses. Court day was the county's entertainment, and the gallery is full. In the clerk's vault, she photographed Book 1, The minute docket of the County Court of Pleas and Quarter Sessions opened in 1754. Sheriff Graham and 2 farmers killing time in his office over the dinner hour. More time being killed. The tobacco was sold. For once there was nowhere to be. January 1940. Rothstein again in Creedmoor. Where does a tobacco check go? Through the teller window of the Creedmoor Bank and into mules. Mule auction, Main Street, Creedmoor. And the other end of the leaf, Durham. Warehouses in front. Cigarette factory smoking behind. The crop that couldn't find a buyer in September was becoming cigarettes all winter. May 1940. Jack Delano's turn in the belt. A corner store in Durham at 11 o'clock at night. And near Farrington, the cycle starting over. Mr. Jones, tenant farmer, planting the 1940 crop. The first one grown under the quotas the growers had voted for. Mrs. Jones with an armful of seedlings. The tools of it, the plan, the peg that opens the hole and a glove to prevent blisters. Mr. Hubbard's father. Delano wrote that he is too old to work. He is in the field anyway. Mr. Rigsby and his son. Plants in the box, peg in his right hand. Fertilizer going down on J.R. Ray's farm 5 miles out of Durham. Tobacco farmer near Farrington. Under the new quota, the belt planted about 60% of the acreage it had planted the year before. The program worked exactly as designed, by shrinking. Fall 1940. Wolcott came back through Caswell and Chatham. Cotton coming in on Highway 15 south of Chapel Hill. Saturday morning in W.M. Scott's General Store at Farrington. A free haircut. Governor Clyde Hoey at the Caswell County Fair in Yanceyville. The school superintendent at his right hand. A farmer heading home from the 1940 auctions, sacks of flour and meal in the trailer, and the empty tobacco sticks. This year there was a market to come home from. Cards in the courthouse yard again. Some things the war hadn't touched. Mr. W.H. Willis and his helper grading and stripping tobacco in the pack house. Willis farmed on a Farm Security Administration loan, which is why there's a doctor in his house. Dr. S.A. Malloy examining Mrs. Willis and the children. The medical care came arranged through the farm program. Corn going into the crib on the Hooper farm. Winter feed laid by. C.C. boys seeding a terrace outlet on E.O. Foster's place. The government trying to give the tired land its rest. And in the Yanceyville courthouse, Congressman A.L. Folger at a county land use planning meeting. Every institution in this film, the loan desk, the quota, the check window, this committee, is the same hand steadying one crop. October 1940. Near Yanceyville, Wolcott stopped on the road for this, her caption. In the fall of the year after the crops are up, many tenants and sharecroppers move into another farm. This family was leaving a farm near Yanceyville for one near Raleigh with everything they owned on board. Tenancy meant the crop was never quite yours, and neither was the house. When the tobacco was sold and the loan was paid, fall was when you found out whether you stayed. The road to Raleigh. A new landlord. A new patch. The same crop.